right? So let's do this. Good evening and welcome. It's Factual Chat with Debbie, and our guest today is Dr. Tolu. She's called the Fixer. Why she's called the Fixer is because she helps people in their relationships. She is a certified counselor. Not just that, she is actually she has a double PhD in psychotherapy. She is wonderful at her job. She doesn't touch your marriage or your family and it remains the same. Join me as I welcome to Factual Chat with Debbie, Dr. Tolu the Fixer. Good evening. You're welcome. All right, so tell us, what is depression? We're looking at this today. We're looking at actually how depression how can we avoid depression from affecting our relationships? So tell us, Dr. Tolu, what is depression?
So I will just try to, thank you for having me, Debbie. I will try to explain this in a layman language. And depression is like finding yourself in a dark tunnel. In a tunnel, you just consider a tunnel that has no end. You can't see the end. You can't pull yourself out, and you do not believe anybody can pull you out because you are just alone in your world. It's so dark. It's a very thick darkness. You are there all alone, helpless. You can't pull yourself out, and no one seems to be able to be around to want to pull you out. So consider that as depression. It's a state of hopelessness and helplessness.
Okay, depression is a state of hopelessness and helplessness. So what are those signals? So, because some people are depressed, but they don't know. Seriously. And it happens gradually. So tell us, what are the signs to show depression? Possibly, what are also the causes of depression?
Okay, so I'm going to start with the sign. So in this part of the world, we always believe that, sickness depression is a disease, it's a sickness actually. Okay, so but for so many of us, because as long as somebody is not, you are not touching the neck and you are feeling, it's the person is so hot, or the person is not vomiting, or the person is not, stooling, or you're not seeing any physical symptoms, we just believe that the person is not sick. Now, depression actually leads to physical symptoms. You start seeing the physical symptoms after some time. But at the beginning, you might not see. But the things you need to look out for are the fact that the person appears helpless. The person is hopeless, like I said. The person loses interest in activities, things they love to do before. They don't feel like doing them anymore. Things that interest them, things that get them excited, they don't find them exciting anymore. The person could lose sleep. The person is just rolling on the bed, cannot sleep. So you are sleeping with somebody that in a few minutes, the person will have probably be snoring. You just notice that the person is just rolling on the bed for hours. Maybe all through the night, the person could not sleep. It could be a sign of depression. Exhaustion, the person could be exhausted, not fit, like any little thing, the person is tired, no energy to carry on, no strength to do anything. That's another sign of depression that has no end. You can't see the end. You can't pull yourself out, and you do not believe anybody can pull you out because you are just alone in your world. It's so dark. It's a very thick darkness. You are there all alone, helpless. You can't pull yourself out, and no one seems to be able to be around to want to pull you out. So consider that as depression. It's a state of hopelessness and helplessness.
Okay, depression is a state of hopelessness and helplessness. So what are those signals? So because some people are depressed, but they don't know. Seriously. And it happens gradually. So tell us, what are the signs to show depression? Possibly, what are also the causes of depression?
Okay, so I'm going to start with the sign. So in this part of the world, we always believe that, sickness depression is a disease, it's a sickness actually. Okay, so but for so many of us, because as long as somebody is not, you are not touching the neck and you are feeling, it's the person is so hot, or the person is not vomiting, or the person is not, stooling, or you're not seeing any physical symptoms, we just believe that the person is not sick. Now, depression actually leads to physical symptoms. You start seeing the physical symptoms after some time, where at the beginning you might not see. But the things you need to look out for are the fact that the person appears helpless, the person is hopeless, like I said. The person loses interest in activities, things they love to do before. They don't feel like doing them anymore. Things that interest them, things that get them excited, they don't find them exciting anymore. The person could lose sleep. The person is just rolling on the bed, cannot sleep. So you are sleeping with somebody that you know in a few minutes, the person will have probably be snoring. You just notice that the person is just rolling on the bed for hours. Maybe all through the night, the person could not sleep. It could be a sign of depression. Exhaustion, the person could be exhausted, you know, not fit, like any little thing, the person is tired, no energy to carry on, no strength to do anything. That's another sign of depression. The person could also have unpleasant thoughts, you know, different kind, and I'm going to explain that in a different, if there is opportunity to explain all of that, because when we talk about depression, it's more about thoughts, you know. So just consider it as a sickness of the mind. Depression attacks your mind. It attacks your thoughts. That's what it does. All right. So when somebody is depressed, the person actually starts having negative thoughts, start thinking about negative things, and the person might actually be prone to suicide. The person could be suicidal. The person loses concentration. The things that, take the person like 30 minutes, 1 hour to finish. The person cannot sit down and just concentrate and do that thing. You remember I said earlier that they could lose interest. It might actually be something they even love to do, but they can't even concentrate. There's no strength, there's no capacity to concentrate anymore. Of course, there is loss of energy. They get tired so easily. Then loss of interest in relationship, whether with family, with friends, emotional, physical, sexual. They lose interest. They actually lose interest completely in sex. When somebody is depressed, sex fly out of the window. So these are the signs that you need to look out for. So if somebody around you is exhibiting any of these symptoms, you just need to know that it could be that something is wrong with this person. Now, it could be depression could now get to a stage where the person could start exhibiting physical symptoms. Because like I said, depression attacks your mind. And as soon as it attacks your mind, a part of your brain that reacts to your thoughts is triggered. And as soon as that part is triggered, it starts producing a kind of, so when that part of your brain is triggered, let me explain it like this. It triggers secretion of certain hormones into your system. So certain chemicals that could actually cause sickness. So it's like your body will start attacking itself. That's a simple explanation that I can give you. So you start noticing something like increased heartbeat, palpitation, sweatiness. The person, when they fold their hand together, by the time they open it, it's full of sweat. The person is sweating profusely in their body. The person is palpitating. The person is always tired. These are physical symptoms of depression. So it might not even get to the physical part at the beginning, but you could just notice most of the psychological or physical, emotional changes in the person. But unfortunately, like I said, in this part of the world, because we normally say, oh, depression is Oyinbo man sickness. No, it's not. As long as you are human, as long as you have a mind, depression could actually attack you. And then the second question you asked was, what could be the possible causes of depression? Funny enough, unfortunately, the causes of depression are not known. They are not known, but they are pointers as to what could cause it. And one of the pointer is it could be genetical. If your parents are prone to depression, there is possibility of you also being prone to depression. It is 30% genetic.
Hold on, doctor, please. Are you saying depression is hereditary? Whoa.
Yes.
That's a new one.
Yes. 30% hereditary. All right. So it could be as a result of the fact that your parent has it. And then, you see, and I could explain that a little bit with psychology, why it could be genetical. You notice that and I'm trying to break this down as much as possible to a layman language that people can understand. Human being, we believe that you are formed by your, I'm trying not to go to, okay, so let me explain something. So you are human. Your personality is your ego. So believe your ego is affected. Whom you are, okay, let me not even go to the deeper ego and all of that. Let me just say whom you are is determined by certain traits that you were born with. And then, so like we call it nature and nurture. And then the way you were trained. So the way you talk, the way you react, the way you behave, you just don't behave like that. Some people actually made you to be the way you are. So sometimes we develop personality based on certain traits that we picked off from our parents genetically or while growing up. So your personality could be formed by genetics, a little bit of genetics, and majorly by nurture, by the way you were trained. Certain personality that are susceptible to depression. People, for example, let me not bore you with different kind of personality, but just look at extroverts and introverts. People who are introverts are mostly prone to depression, you know. So your personality has a lot to do with, you notice that why, I mean, there could be two kids who were brought up in the same household, the same parent, the same attitude and everything. But you just notice that one behave like grandma. Maybe grandma is very quiet, grandma is very gentle. Are you okay? I could
Yes,
see
I'm
you're
listening to
squeezing
you.
your
Go
face.
ahead. Yeah. When you're streaming from the house, you know.
Gentle. And
It's
then you
okay. Go
just
ahead.
notice
I'm
that the
listening to
child
you.
is a bit
All
quiet.
right.
Yeah. Right. So you notice that the child is a bit quiet. So this could be that, you know, the child picks
Okay.
certain traits from grandma. So some personality are actually susceptible to depression. So depression
Okay.
could actually be genetic and it could be as a result of your personality. And like I said, the major cause or the major causes are unknown, but 30% genetic. It could be as a
Okay.
result of stressful life events. All right. Like we normally say, loss is universal, right? But grief is unique. All right. Everybody could lose something. Everybody could have certain life events, you know, that could throw you off your feet. But the way we react to it are different, is different, you know. So that's why I said loss is universal, grief is unique. People grieve differently. So depression could be a form of reaction to certain sudden life event like loss, like maybe loss of relationship, loss of job, loss of something interesting, financial stress. It could be, and then it could be as a result of physical sickness. All right, it could be as a result
Okay.
of something like hepatitis B. It could be, and it could be as a result of reaction to certain drugs, actually, and it could be as a result of abuse. People abuse alcohol, people abuse, and then of course certain medications, certain medical treatment will actually cause depression as well.
Okay. So let's move over. Let's move over to the main discussion for today. Meanwhile, if you're watching us live, we're speaking with Dr. Tolu. It's Factual Chat with Debbie, and today we're talking about your well-being. You might not understand the importance of this. We used to think suicide was not a thing that happens in Nigeria up till 2018 and 2019, when we started seeing Nigerians taking their own life, jumping into Third Mainland Bridge, the river there, the ocean, and drowning themselves. You know, these things are beginning to surface here. Now we look at marriages breaking up every day. What happens in them is that as a result of maybe excessive, maybe problem, irreconcilable differences, which can be caused by a partner being depressed. Now the thing is, a partner being depressed, Dr. Tolu, this is to you now. The signs you just mentioned, withdrawing, being on their own, the same thing with a partner that is falling out of love. They look alike. If you're in a relationship, you're dating a guy or dating a girl, you're in a marriage, and you notice that your man suddenly does not want to have sex with you anymore. He doesn't want to really be around you anymore. He wants to quickly just do something else. He wants to be all by himself. He gets irritated easily by you. The first thing that will come to the woman's head or the man's head, as the case may be, either ways, is he is cheating on me. There's another woman. So from all you've said, it means that symptoms can actually come and it will look like this person, especially in maybe in an intimate relationship, it will look like this person is actually looking like he is distracted by someone else. So let us come to the depression and relationship. How does depression affect our relationships, especially intimate relationship. I'm talking about a husband and a wife and spouses, maybe a fiance, a girlfriend, a boyfriend. How does it affect relationships?
All right. So like I
Are you
explained
there?
earlier, depression is like, yes, I'm there. Can you hear me?
Did you get the question? Did you get the question?
100%. I got you
Okay, go ahead.
100%.
All right. Okay.
Right. So, like I explained earlier, depression is like being in a dark tunnel. So you look around, it's a thick, dark tunnel. You can't even see anything. So you don't even believe anybody can pull you out because you are looking around you, you are not seeing anybody. You can't even find yourself. All right. So when somebody is in that state, you can't even find yourself. How do you find the other party? So there's no way depression will not affect the other party, especially in an emotional relationship, because the person that is dealing with it's like the person that is in a relationship with that person is just in a relationship with a shadow, because that person is a shadow of himself or herself. So the person doesn't even understand himself. So you are not even in a relationship with anybody because the person is gone. So it's a shadow of the person.
Okay.
So you are just relating with the shadow. So there is no way
Okay.
it won't affect your relationship.
All right.
So definitely it will affect it. It will affect because, like I said, the person cannot relate with you the way they used to because they've lost themselves.
Okay. All right. What that means is that when someone is in a relationship and the person is depressed, it will certainly attack their relationship. Now, is there any way the
Definitely.
depressed fellow can make it not to affect the free flow, even in your depressed state? Is there somehow the depressed fellow can minimize the impact it will have on his or her relationship? And also, is there a way a depressed person can find himself back, putting into consideration this particular time we are in Nigeria and all over the world? There are people who perhaps used to kill their depression with hanging out and maybe going swimming, doing this, doing that. They can't do any of this extracurricular activity. So they are bound to just stay in their spouse or all by themselves. Now, the thing is there any way someone that's depressed can come out of it? And is there any way someone that's depressed can ensure it doesn't affect their relationship with the other
Okay,
person,
so
knowing that you're the only person going through what you're going through? This person is not in your mind and does not know. And some depressed people refuse to tell anybody they're depressed in most cases. So tell us, is there a way this it can be managed in such a way where it doesn't tear the family apart or the relationship apart?
okay, so in answering that question, the first thing you need to know is that now the relationship, how deep is this relationship? How is your trust? Now, before this person starts acting this way, if they ask you to come out and talk about this person, what can you say about this person? Could you say, you know what, Debbie can go and, Debbie could cross the ocean for me. If Debbie is sleeping, if I wake her up, I know what she could say. So your trust level, how deep it is it? How is the root of that relationship? Now, so there's a way, if your trust is intact, the bond that you share, if it is intact, when pressure comes, there is something that will make you to know, no, I trust this person, something is wrong. This person, this is not normal. The way this person is behaving is not normal. Something in your head will know that. It's not like, in fact, like you asked a question earlier that, could it be that, okay, how do you differentiate between, okay, this person is falling out of love, or this person is going through a phase? It's for you to really understand that. It is because something is wrong. It is not because this person is falling out of love with me. They are not the same thing. All right. That's one. So you need to be sensitive. You need to define. That's the first step. Define what you share, how strong it is. How strong is the bond between the two of you? Can you beat your chest and say, you know what? I know this person. So if you are able to differentiate that, when the person is going through a phase, it's going to be able to be easy for you to know that something is wrong. This is not my boyfriend. This is not the husband that I married. This is not the woman that I married. That is the first one. Second thing, answering the second question. Now, how can the person make the other party know that, you know what, I'm going through a phase and this is not just me? The first part, like I said, is for the person who is not going through depression to be sensitive, considering what you are sharing.
If you're watching, I noticed that there's no, Dr. Tolu, 1 minute, excuse me, please. I noticed that there are no comments. This is a very interactive program. Please, if you're watching us live, I would like for you to say something, let us know you're following up. And if you have a question for her, please listen and ask your questions, okay? I like it to be interactive. I'm noticing people online, but they are not saying anything. I need you to at least identify that you're online. Dr. Tolu, please go back to your thoughts. We're listening. Dr. Tolu, you can go back, please.
Now, secondly, depression could be mild and it could be chronic. All right? It could be mild, it could be chronic. At a point in our life, every one of us, we actually fall into depression and fall out. Sometimes, you know, not serious, mild one. You just don't feel, you know, you are not feeling yourself. You don't have that energy, a kind of overwhelming sadness. Maybe something is just not working the way you want it to work. You could slip into a mild depression and then you can come out of it. All right. But it could get to a chronic stage. So when you are in a relationship with somebody, if depression is still mild, it's going through certain things. Can you just give me some time to put myself together? If it is still mild, the person will have the capacity to do all of that. When it gets to chronic, don't even expect the person to do that. The person does not even have the capacity to tell you, I'm going through stuff. He or she cannot. Because he has gotten to a place where the thing has attacked their mind completely.